Trick or treat.
Hello and welcome to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. We're Gary Seath and Brad Robinson.
And you're not.
This week, we're going vintage, Brad. We're talking about Season 2, Episode 6, with host Buck Henry and musical guest The Band. This show originally aired on October 30th, 1976, and this podcast originally aired at some point in 2023.
I think so. Well, we failed our trick, so here's a treat. Yes, a little Halloween treat for everyone this week. Enjoy a fun episode from Season 2. First time they try to tackle Halloween, even though it's not exactly on Halloween, but their first kind of spooky sketches with Halloween Jaws, and Garrett goes out to Houdini's grave at one point at the end of the episode.
Yep.
Famously, Chevy's last episode as a cast member.
This is the famous episode where Buck gets cut by the samurai sword in the opening sketch.
Everyone wears Band-Aids throughout this episode.
Yeah. And The Band, one of your favorites.
Did we mention The Band? The Band is on.
Yeah.
I mean, we both like this episode.
Yes.
I feel like I liked it more because of The Band, but it is a fun episode. It's a really great episode. It's Buck, of course. It's always good.
Yeah. So it's us and John Schneider, as always, talking about a Buck Henry episode.
Yeah, little Halloween treat for everyone.
Yeah. Enjoy your Halloween and enjoy this episode.
Catch you next week.
Mrs. Barson.
There is no Mrs. Bargain Barson here.
Candy ring.
Look, I'm all out of candy. I gave it all away. Now go home.
UNICEF, ma'am.
UNICEF?
UNICEF.
That's different.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Hello and welcome to the Not Ready for Primetime Podcast. We're Gary Seath and Brad Robinson.
And you're not.
This week, we're talking about Season 2, Episode 6, with host Buck Henry and musical guest The Band. Brad, Buck Henry's back.
Gary, I feel like Saturday Night Live has a very warm feeling in their bellies when they know Buck Henry's coming on. Because I have a very warm feeling when I know John Schneider's coming on. John Schneider from the Saturday Night Network is with us yet again to walk us through a Buck Henry episode. Welcome back, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So excited to be back. Number 3. So yes, I get a lot of warm feelings when I get the invite back on the podcast as well. And so much fun to get to do the first 2 with you during Season 1. And now it's going to get intense, guys. Like the original era is heating up. We're in some of the greatest moments. We're building towards like the peak. So it's coming. And I feel every time the Buck Henry episode comes around, I feel like it's like another milestone in the era. So this is very exciting.
It's like a little landmark that you know you're getting where you're at in the history of the show when you see Buck Henry.
You're like Buck number 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is also a monumental episode because it's Chevy's last episode.
Let's get it out there.
As a cast member, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brad's very excited about that.
I hate you all.
Brad's very excited because it's A, Chevy's last show. B, the band is Brad's favorite band. So let's try not to let him talk for 4 hours about the band, John. That is our goal
to step
today.
away at that point.
Sounds good.
And it's also the 3rd show in Brooklyn, which is a throwaway fact to me right now because it's Chevy's last show.
Yeah. So I guess, do you want to save the legacy talk for Chevy as a cast member till later on in the episode, or is like now the right time to talk through it?
Yeah, bring it up. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think? We got 30 episodes from Chevy, including this one. And this is it. It's the first time in SNL's history we're actually closing the book on a cast member. I guess if you're not counting George Coe and O'Donoghue, right?
Right.
So like this is our first like official look back at what is a full cast member's career. How did it go? What's the legacy? And I think it's very, to me, this is the way I always looked at the show, is like talking about the show as it was then comparing to how you view it now is a fascinating discussion, because as Chevy leaves the show at this time, he is the greatest cast member in SNL history.
Yes.
But now, definitely not. So it is so interesting to see how that develops as we keep going and building the legacy of the show.
And you're right. And, Gary called me out on it when we started this. I was very anti-Chevy. And it was the one thing I said when we finished season 1. The thing I was most surprised about was how much I enjoyed Chevy Chase, because he's so good on this show. He's so smart. He writes so much. He does so much on the show. I've enjoyed him. And I'm not going to necessarily say I'm sorry to see him go, but I completely do value what he brought to the show and what he meant to the show.
And you see a lot of his humor. He's so fast and he's so self-referential. And you see it in the show this episode when he talks about the bandage and stuff and throws things out. He's just so quick and brought a lot of that with him to the show that I think stayed on after he left and became part of the legacy of the show. It was just kind of like, there's definitely still an imprint from Chevy that has lasted all these years.
Absolutely. And they're going to continue to bring it up. I mean, Chevy's presence, especially in season 2, Chevy's presence is all over the place.
Yeah.
So even after he leaves, he's not really gone for, a while. He's going to host a bunch of times as well. So the things that he helped build in the show will last for decades to come. And that's why his legacy is really important. I am very fascinated to hear from the two of you as I continue to listen to the podcast throughout season 2 is, do you feel like the show is missing Chevy? Like, is there, is there a hole there? We'll get to that, of course, and he will be replaced in the cast. But it'd be very interesting to hear you guys talk about that.
Well, even we've already had 2 episodes this season where he wasn't in the show, but his presence was huge.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, John. I'm interested to see how long that lingers throughout the second season.
We get 2 other. We're speaking of last, but we get 2 other last this episode. The first one I'll say quickly. It's the last public appearance of the band before they do the last waltz. We can talk about it more later. But more importantly, I think for the show, it's their last show.
John smiles. John just messaged me to please mute your mic at that point. So
John,
I said, take a load off, Gary.
John, I like it. They're 4/5 Canadian. John's on my side.
Yeah,
100%.
But no, this is the last show they do before the presidential election.
Yeah.
3 days before the election, which as we get through it, we can tell there's a lot of political heavy stuff in this episode, but that's,
And it's Halloween. So we have a bunch of Halloween themed sketches in tonight's show as well.
And it's an interesting mix. They bring back a lot of old standbys, especially in the first half of the episode. We see a lot of reoccurring characters, stuff we've seen before, and then a lot of weird, bizarre stuff we haven't seen. So I don't know. It's an interesting episode. And again, we get Buck back, which is always a treat.
Not a trick, Brad.
I swear I didn't mean. I swear I wasn't doing.
Happy Halloween.
All right. Should we just get into it then?
We should. Yes, please.
So the cold open starts with Gilda on her couch in the living room set with a giant Halloween pumpkin on the side table, and the doorbell rings, and it's a wonderful land shark sketch, and it's so much fun. Gilda goes to the door to answer it, and what I enjoyed was she's like, "It's 2 a.m. I'm like, why are you answering the door? You shouldn't be trick-or-treating." So go through the routine of the land shark, candygram, et cetera, and so forth. And when the land shark finally says it's UNICEF, she's like, "Oh, well, that's different no matter what time it is." And we get the land shark, and then Chevy pops out for Live from New York. I thought this was a great cold open.
Yeah.
I thought it was great as well. I mean, I think the thing that's most notable about this is that there's no pratfall.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I think that's probably doctor recommended, given he actually was hurt at the beginning of the season. What do you think?
I agree. I'll bring that up later because I had that same thought.
So, I mean, obviously this episode is going to be a celebration of Chevy in a way and include a lot of his best hits. So it makes sense that this would happen here. So happy to get another Jaws Candygram.
Yeah, I agree with John. This was a welcome return. We haven't seen it in a while. Given that this was Chevy's last show, I mean, I'll totally take it. And they didn't drag it out longer than it needed to be. So it was quick. It was a great callback to one of the original bits that really set the show up and gave it its mark. And I really liked it.
I did too. I thought it was a great way to start the show. And it tied in that whole Halloween thing. So it's right on point with what they were.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Buck's monologue then follows this. And this was a little different in tone than the fun land shark piece, in my opinion. Buck talks about how great the cast is and what you may have read is all junk. And then he goes on to talk about each cast member individually and how they've overcome these different obstacles to put on this show. And some of these are really dark And some of these are very odd.
Is this where I say 1976, baby?
I think it's like a combination of 1976 and a combination of Buck's dark humor that
That's
he
a very
has.
good point, actually. The Buck dark
Right?
side. Yes, that's yeah.
Listen, let's talk about Gilda for a moment. She is perhaps the sweetest member of the group. She's got the biggest heart. She's very close to her family, very close to her brother. She lives with her brother. She's extremely close to her brother. Her doctor is worried. Not alarmed. He just thinks a child at this time would be unwise. But what? I mean, these things don't matter. Let's take Garrett Morris. Talk about talent. He can act, he can sing, he can dance. I've seen his writing. It's sensational. He's got another talent you probably don't. He'd be embarrassed if I told you. Oh, well. Cannibalism. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, did I say cannibalism? I meant skiing. I must have been thinking of the Alps and the Andes and that plane. Well, what does it matter? He skis and he's a wonderful cook, and he goes up to that lodge in the Andes and he cooks and leg of white man, stuff like that. He's an incredible guy. Now let's talk about Chevy. As you know, it's his last show. And you probably think from reading in the papers that he's going to Hollywood, he's going to fame, fortune, and all that garbage. He is not interested. He doesn't give a hoot about his career. He is leaving this show Monday simply to be with Lloyd. They're opening a dress shop together, and with what Lloyd knows about business and Chevy's interest in and knowledge about women's clothes, we know it's going to be successful, and we wish him the very best, and we'll be right back.
I have a big question. I didn't really do too much research before because I wanted to ask the both of you.
Well, you're on the right show, John.
Okay.
Ask Eric Idle.
Yeah, so he starts going, this is Chevy's last show, and he's leaving to be with Lloyd. Who's Lloyd?
Oh, I think this is just 1976.
It's
poor
another
taste
one
humor.
of, I think it's another one of Buck's, and he makes a few of these
which I will
gay
admit,
jokes.
I thought it was
Okay.
funny.
So Lloyd isn't like a person like I should know who Lloyd is. It's just let's pick a random man's name to insinuate that he's leaving to be with another man when everybody knows that Chevy's leaving to be with a girl who's convincing him to move to LA.
And in 1976, that's funny.
Okay, understood.
Yeah,
That's
right?
Buck funny. Yeah.
I was like, who is Lloyd?
Who is Lloyd? I will say, as far as getting into it, the thing I noticed as soon as they cut into the studio, they actually put seats on the floor for the first time they've done in the 3 Brooklyn episodes. And I feel like you got something from that. You could really feel the audience right there, like on top of it. And I was excited. I enjoyed knowing the audience was like right there with them.
I noticed that too, because in the last 2 episodes in Brooklyn, the audience was seemingly far away, and so you couldn't hear the audience either. You couldn't hear the audience laugh as much, and it's, you know, it did bring more energy to the
and
show.
it's more people. I mean, you put more people in, more seats, so there's that too. It's just louder in general. That's a good point too.
Yeah. Buck goes right from his monologue to the first sketch. We see Samurai Stockbroker, which of course it's Buck. We have a samurai sketch. This is par for the course, right? First sketch after monologue.
Always early on.
Yeah. Although this time he calls him Mr. Mikaraki.
I thought the name was,
The name's different.
Right.
And Buck goes to him because John, as the samurai, is his stockbroker. And Buck is mad because he's lost all of his money following John's advice. And this is a classic sketch where Buck gets hit in the head with the sword and ends up bleeding. But before that piece, it's a typical Buck samurai sketch. It's just angry Buck this time.
So this is my favorite samurai sketch.
I'm going to let John take this because I remember you said this was your favorite when we talked about it the first time.
Yeah, and it's not because like the quality of the writing is any better than the other Buck ones. It's though I do, like I said, I always believe that these are the best with Buck. It's just purely for the legacy of the sketch. I think it's so fantastic to get to watch pure live television where just this moment of angst and despair on Buck's face as he turns around for 2 seconds, not knowing what to do, and then makes the call of all calls to like jump back into the sketch, bloody forehead and all, and just go full throttle with jumping out the window. Like for me, that is what this show is all about. It's like putting people to the test of, you know, can you handle the aspect of live television and, you know, all the good sketch writing. And to me, like this is like an amazing cast member with a lot of energy doing a character that is like very well known, put with a guy who's like done really well in his first 2 hosting appearances, but this is the moment that really cements for me Buck Henry's legacy on the show, which is like he can handle anything you throw at him, and then it turns into a gag that will develop throughout the episode and make this one of the more memorable episodes of the show. This is so memorable. So for me, that's why this is a all-time classic.
I have to respectfully disagree with John on this one. And it's funny, I remember watching it knowing you said this was your favorite sketch. And I will admit, I probably don't give it enough credit for what it means for the liveness of the show and acting in the moment and what they did. And then all the stuff that comes after with the bandage and whatnot. But as a sketch itself, taking away that aspect of it, I did not like this one that much. This is the 6th one we've seen, with the exception of Peter Boyle's, probably my least favorite one they've done, because up until the point where he gets hit, I don't feel like anything really happens. Buck is great, of course. Buck is fantastic, but there's nothing really to it. They don't add anything that they've done before. John kind of feels like he's going through the motions on it a little bit. It's fine, but it's mostly because of Buck, because John feels so kind of subdued. Like, I thought the Chris Christopherson episode sketch was better because the two of them were just so nuts in it and so fun. The way I was kind of watching was like, if Buck Henry didn't get cut in this episode, which of course is kind of stupid to say because obviously it happens, but if it didn't happen, this is not a great sketch as it is. That being said, John's right. And I had actually forgotten about that. Those 2 seconds when he gets hit and doesn't know what to do, and he does turn away from John and almost walks off set because he's like, what? Oh my, and then realizes the sketch isn't over and finishes.
Yeah.
There is a lot to say to that.
One of the things that I think hurt the sketch was John lighting up the cigar and then spending a lot of time during the sketch with a cigar in his mouth, and his reactions to what Buck was saying were not that, loud. Like in the past he's done it and he's got a lot of oomph behind what he's saying or not saying, right? And he has the cigar in his mouth and he's just kind of muttering with the cigar. He lost a lot of energy for me, and that kind of took me.
That's what I felt like. He was going through the motions almost.
So I've had this debate a lot on my podcast, which is, a sketch will come on and it will air, and there's something about it that is so important to the history of the show. And I've had many analysts come and say, well, the quality of the sketch itself was not that great. And I say it doesn't matter, because the sketch is bigger than the show at that point. Like, it becomes the show. And, I don't think that the actual lines, and I know there's going to be plenty of listeners who disagree with me, but I don't think that the actual lines of the show, the dialogue, matter at that point. All I think matters is the actual moment that you have here in this 50-year institution, where it's like, this is a historical moment. Something happens in the sketch that alters the momentum, not just of the sketch, but the entire show in Chevy's last episode of the show. And that to me is like altering for the view of everything.
That's where I think you have a very good point, John, is not the hit itself, but what that does, the cast wearing the Band-Aids throughout the whole episode. And that's something that you can only do live, and, you only do because of that incident. So it actually, I totally get your point. And it's like, this episode is so memorable because of that. I totally get what you're saying as far as the action being bigger than the sketch itself.
Look, there's like 12,000 sketches in the history of Saturday Night Live. There's a lot of material to comb through to decide, what's a good sketch, what's a bad sketch. But there's only, maybe 100 of them that have like defined the legacy of the show. And I do think that this is one of those moments. So for me, I can't even think about the quality of the sketch itself. All I can think about is that the moment really mattered here. And look, conspiracy theory, maybe the sketch wasn't so great, and Belushi hit Buck on purpose. You never know.
Well, I wouldn't say it was no. Not they did it on purpose, but and I mean, no one's ever blamed John, and Buck Henry's talked about it and said he stepped too close than he should have. But John was not in his best state at this time, which all I'm saying is leads to him kind of not feeling like he's on his A game for this sketch.
Also, part of it was the wall didn't give the way he thought, so he was hacking.
Well, Buck can't catch a break. Not only does, like John said, he gets hit in the head, then he goes to jump out the window, and what was supposed to be like the wooden window frame falls beneath him. So he goes to step off that, and that falls. So he falls again. He gets hurt again.
I think what you're saying is that this is a incredible sketch, and
this should go down as one of the best of all time. I'll pull out another random story, Gary. I was listening to a Buck Henry interview about this, and he was saying after this sketch, he's getting patched up, and they found a doctor who happened to be John Belushi's doctor, but he's, fixing up, putting the Band-Aid on, and he tells the story that he can hear John talking to Lorne, basically saying, well, if Buck can't go on, I know his sketches, I could do them.
Oh man. I feel like you have told the story of the cast trying to replace the hosts like half a dozen times at this point, whether it was like Louise Lasser and they didn't think she was going to come on, or...
Well, I would say at this point, I would think the cast in general thinks they're better than 90% of the hosts that they get on there.
It's a real Eddie Murphy situation happening here with the cast, but...
Well, I don't think our next sketch is going to go down as one of the best in history.
It's not bad.
Not for first waities only sketch. So it's Barbara Wawa again, and she's interviewing Betty Carter and Rosalind Carter, Jane and Lorraine, about the election and what it takes to be a first lady and what it's like to be a first lady and what they do. And it's an interview sketch. So she interviews both of them and asks them what they do for their husbands as first ladies. And
you didn't like this, huh? You did not like this.
No, I didn't hate it. It was not the worst sketch of the night, in my opinion, but it was also not like great. It's not the best Barbara Wawa sketch we've seen by any stretch.
Okay.
Did you think so? No,
I actually liked it. It's not the best, but you know what I liked about it? They found a fun way to hit up on the election, make fun of the election, the politics of the time.
Yes.
That was one. Two, it was good to see the ladies shine in their own sketch.
Yeah, just the three of them. I like that.
But I thought they did a much better job trying to incorporate the Baba Wawa character into the politics of the day. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago where they did the sketch with her and Lorraine, and Lorraine was playing, what's her name, Gandhi from India?
Yeah.
And remember, that was a joke where they tried to inject the politicalness, and every time they tried, it missed. All the audience did was laugh at the accent jokes.
Right.
But I thought they did a good job with this of trying to make it political and bring that character in, making her an actual character, that she was upset with the fact that she thinks that she is a better candidate to be first lady than these two ladies. I liked all of that. I agree with you. This was not the greatest Barbara Wawa sketch ever.
Yeah.
But I like what they did with it. And, we talk about the reoccurring characters, the evolution of it or the arc of it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I mean, I think that it's important that a sketch like this happens in the show, especially when you were dealing with the election, and it's really SNL's first time to get into the political sphere in an election. And the fact that, back in the 70s, you would just think generally that they wouldn't, take the route of what was happening with the first ladies or the potential first ladies at the time, but they did. And they talked about that and they gave them personalities on the show. And I do think that this is a strategic decision of the show to put themselves in a position where if Ford wins the election, which I don't believe people thought he necessarily would at the time, but if Ford won the election, they have Jane as a character, as Betty Ford. And I think Jane has some of the best lines of the sketch. And they have Lorraine there as well as Rosalind Carter, where they could develop personalities or caricatures of these people so that if they need them in sketches in the future, they have them. So I don't know that this sketch does too much, but at least it will set up what's to come. So I think it's nice that from a production perspective that this is happening, and then also that they gave the three women of the cast an important political moment right before the election.
And I thought Lorraine did a great job. I thought she did a great job on her accent and that character. I think I felt it was a little weak in that all of the jokes that they had for the two wives were repeats of jokes that they've been doing for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
There was nothing new.
Right.
It's just
the
from
newness
a different
was them,
perspective.
Was
Yeah, no, I know.
But I hear what you're saying, yeah.
All right, ladies, let's get serious. Neither of you truly qualifies to be first lady. I mean, you aren't articulate, you aren't informed, you aren't glamorous, you aren't me. I mean, really, who does deserve to be first lady? Me, Barbara Wawa, first lady of television. Don't you agree?
Have you got any pet names for your husband?
Oh, well, Jimmy, when he dresses up like Eleanor Roosevelt, and I call him Ellie, or Eleanor, or Mrs. Roosevelt? What do you call Jerry?
Well, of course, there's Dimbulb, Mr. Dimbulb.
Wait a minute. Plus, I have a terrific personality. I'm not too liberal. I love blacks, though. I can say Harry Wiesner.
We do things, beef wit, melon head, mint
Harry Wiesner. I would like to be first. Pretty please, could I be first lady? Please. I would really like to be.
Then there's Mr. Potato Head.
This has been Baba Wawa with Not the First Ladies Only.
Well, you can see that they're now making her a character.
Yeah, they're
right?
doing more than just
all
the
they've been
accents.
playing off of
Yeah.
before was the speech.
That's what I liked.
And now they're like making her a character.
Because the last time we saw her, I feel like they tried and failed, sadly, with that her and
Indira Gandhi.
yeah, this is what they were trying to do then, and it's like they decided like let's bring it home and people might catch it a little bit better, and I feel like they did. Yeah. I know we don't like to hit on the chyrons that often, but I did like the exit chyron when they go to the audience and they show some hippie looking dude and says electoral college dropout. Thought it was very funny and very timely. I thought it was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah. What I didn't find funny,
Okay.
the next sketch, go Gary.
So the next sketch is Garrett Morris's Roots, where Garrett Morris tells us about his family history, starting in Africa all the way through their enslavement to current day, where it turns out that his family is all celebrities. The funny thing was that all of his ancestors were just Garrett dressed up in different costumes throughout history. That was fun-ish.
I almost thought that was half cringy though.
Some of it was, yeah. Some of it was. This was another one where one of my notes is, this is way too long and has kind of lost me.
This was not funny for two reasons. One, we've found it tough that a sketch is very hard to pull off when it's just one person talking and the joke is really like cutaways to visuals, like photographs or pictures or drawings. They're just, it's a tough sketch to pull off, right?
Yeah.
And two, it's just not funny.
Yeah, I mean, I have a tough time with the Garrett stuff here. I mean, I don't really know what to say about it beyond just that it's he's spoken about it, that it was just really tough to get airtime, and there's no black writers, and they're just trying to figure out how to incorporate him into the show.
Yeah,
it's just that there's not a lot of, I mean this in like the nicest way. There's just like not a lot of depth to it beyond
right.
just
No,
like,
it
here's
doesn't
what the
go
joke is.
anywhere. Yeah, 100%
Yes.
doesn't go anywhere. Like it felt like this needed to get meta. What would have made this funny is if someone would have walked on while he's doing this, whether it's like, I don't know, an Al Franken or a Chevy or a John, and be like, Garrett, it's not working. You know what I mean? Like they make a joke about Garrett trying to do something and it not work. Like I was waiting for that to happen because there was just nothing there. And I thought that's where they might go. And like basically tell him it's not working and we need to cut this sketch and we got to move on and whatever, and have that be the joke. But I don't know.
I don't think they're that meta yet at this point, though, right? Like,
and I totally missed the end. Did you guys catch the end? Like, I get, he was somehow then related to Peter Marshall, who's the host of Hollywood Squares. And I don't know if there was like the laugh or the audio, but like, I don't know if there was a joke I missed, but I missed the whole then like reference to Hollywood Squares and who's in the squares and all that stuff.
They had the whole thing with Jonathan Winters was on there. They did you see this? They had like a whole Hollywood Squares board.
No, I know, but like, was that?
And then he finished with, "I'm the secret square."
Yeah, like because John said like it was going nowhere. So like, is that where it was going? Because I didn't get if that's where it was going. I missed if that was the end result. I
think
missed
that's where it was
the
going.
connection or the tissue there that made that work. I don't know.
Yeah, I just felt like it was like very straight line. Like I was trying to follow, and then it just like fell off a mountain.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bumpy.
Yeah,
throughout the sketch.
There's some moguls.
Yeah.
It was bumpy.
We have another debate sketch. This time, Buck being the host, and President Ford and Governor Carter come out for the swimsuit competition. And this is when we first see Chevy with the bandage on his head. And it's like the Miss America pageant.
Mm-hmm.
The first two debates, they've talked about foreign policy and domestic policy. And then this debate, there's no talk about policy. It's just the swimsuits and the talent competition. I thought this was great.
Yeah, I mean, this is the big moment. This is a Franken and Davis sketch. They work on it with Danny and Chevy. And then, what are they going to do to culminate all the election coverage in their first time ever covering the general election? And I don't love where they went with it. I think that, the route that they went actually made this sketch, which could have been the funniest one, the one that I think is the least memorable from the general election coverage. Like, I think if you go back and you look at those original election sketches, like you're talking that like first or second one are seen much, much more than this one, just because it's so like specific to jokes that are happening like that week about the election, I believe. And then the competitions are like, yeah, it's kind of cute, but yeah, to me, like it only works in the context of this given episode and doesn't necessarily go beyond the show. And I know that that's at the time, that's not what they're thinking about, making a, election sketch that's going to, go past the show. But really for me, I think it's like a fascinating sketch to examine because I don't think it works in full.
I like this idea, I got to say. As having seen the last two debate sketches relatively frequently, I like the idea that they decided to do something different with this one. I don't know if they necessarily executed as well as they could, but I like the idea they played this as the swimsuit portion of the beauty pageant. They've also been playing with this beauty pageant joke bit a bunch. They did it with a Ollie Norton fight with Garrett Morris a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
They did a beauty pageant thing with the Gary Weiss film. So they've been playing this kind of idea a little bit. But I like the idea because, again, remember, this is the third debate sketch they've done ever.
Yeah.
And the first one is genius.
Yeah.
Second one's pretty good. Again, it's season 2. They're still trying things out. And I give them marks for that. I give them marks for going different on that. I agree. I don't love it. I don't think it's the best. It's not the funniest. But I appreciate and I do like the fact that they went kind of outside the box on this one.
What will you do if you win the competition and become perhaps the most powerful man in the world?
Gee, I don't know. Golly, I really don't know. It would be such a shock, and if I actually won, I guess I'd just, the White House and all that.
Yes?
I suppose I'd just go across this great nation and talk to a lot of people and try to get to know them as best I can, and I'll...
Oh, that's very good.
I get a convertible, don't I, if I win?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Georgia. Thank you very much. All right, isn't he lovely, ladies and gentlemen? And what a charming answer. And now, Mr. United States, your envelope and your question. Would you open it, please? Very good, sir. I'll just read the question.
I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. We're sorry,
I
too.
cut myself shaving here this evening, too.
All right, sir. Here is your question. You are at a state dinner in Moscow, sitting at the dais with Chairman Brezhnev, Mrs. Brezhnev, and Mr. Kissinger. Inadvertently, your tie lands in Mr. Brezhnev's soup. Realizing the faux pas, you excuse yourself, reaching with your right hand to remove your tie from his soup. Your elbow hits Mrs. Brezhnev in the right eye, causing her to fall over backwards behind the dais in pain. You rise, severely scratching Secretary of State Kissinger on the temple with your salad fork. In an attempt to console the chairman's wife, you accidentally pierce her thorax with the heel of your left shoe. Mr. Kissinger rises and apologizes publicly to the Brezhnevs while holding a napkin to his bleeding left temple, very much like my own, as you trip over the face of Mrs. Brezhnev and fall through the tables on the dais, landing with your right knee in Kosygин's mouth. How would you handle this delicate social situation?
The Puerto Ricans are an independent and autonomous people.
I think you have to do something different. If you're going to do a debate sketch, it has to be different than just the two of them at podiums again, talking. And I thought this was a great way to break out of that mold and make it something fun and different. And it is, the weekend before the election, so they have to do something really with the two candidates.
Yeah, I just didn't think it was biting enough. I love
the idea.
But I'll take back what I said. Like, I agree that this feels fresh compared to the other two. So there are some really positives for it. But I do feel like when it comes to political coverage and like we don't have Jim Downey as a writer on the show yet, they're still like sort of like working their way in with stuff like that. And I do think that, Buck plays an amazing host here and he's really fun with the back and forth. Like my favorite parts of this is like that long like soliloquy that he goes on at the end asking the question. So great. Like that to me is like like the funniest part. The whole thing about like the Moscow State dinner, and then like Chevy deflects completely. And then I also love the meta of Chevy saying like, I caught myself shaving here this evening too. Like that was
that was the funniest bit of this sketch was him calling attention to that. That line was hilarious.
Yeah, but it takes a long time to get there, right? Like it's probably like 5 minutes before we get there.
Oh yeah.
But John mentioned earlier, the Chevy's doctor's orders thing. Why does Chevy take a fall?
Right.
He goes into the voting booth. He's going to show people how to vote as his talent. He's going to show people how to vote after Carter does dental work on Garrett, but whatever. But then he like does this completely forced fall off the stage. And you're like, why, man? Like, why do it?
I felt the same way, but I also felt like he wanted to do one more big fall.
Oh, that's a good, okay.
But then I wondered why he wouldn't just do it at the cold open.
And it's Ford. I mean, they did this in episode 1 too. Like they didn't do the fall in the cold open. He did it during the debate when he played Ford. So
yes,
no, you're right. Because as we said earlier, this is like a really nice send off for Chevy. So let him do Ford and let him do one last fall.
Well, then we have Brad. You like to talk about where things fall in the show, and the fact that we didn't have a musical guest before Weekend Update this week kind of threw me off. It felt right in time of the show, but I also felt surprised that we didn't see.
You were waiting for it? Yeah, I hear you.
A musical guest, that's all.
Yeah.
Because we've seen it to this point this season.
They've been very early, yeah.
Yeah. We get Chevy's first phone call that's not related to anything sexual. It's talking about drugs this time instead.
Which I think is really funny.
It was funny because he talks about missing motor skills and then he can't hang the phone up.
Yeah, it was great.
It was good. And then his top story is Buck's cutting his head on tonight's show. And then he references a far gone and downed and drugged out John Belushi.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that comment. I didn't remember it being there.
Yeah.
But a lot of political jokes.
Yeah, and then it gets all political. Obviously, I mean, 3 days before, sure.
Including 2 political commercials for either candidate.
Yeah, they were interesting.
I love this.
Yeah.
I thought they were very good. Yeah, I really liked them a lot.
Yeah, because I think it's really fun that, well, first of all, I will agree. The top story being Buck Henry cutting his forehead and then Belushi drugged out.
That's great.
I think that's totally great.
Yeah.
Then when they do these like attack ads and they completely throw you off thinking we're going to get to see Chevy as Ford, to only realize that they're showing an actual clip of Ford pardoning Nixon and using that as the attack ad for Ford is so biting and so well done that, again, I think what happened when I watched this episode was I enjoyed Debate 76, and then I watched this and I was like, that wasn't this. This is what I was looking for from the show.
I also thought, these types of ads are more in line with what you actually would see today as real political ads.
Right.
But I thought they were both well done.
They were great. Apparently NBC News wouldn't give them the Ford footage.
Really?
This is in the early years, one of the things apparently Lauren was like most proud of was the fact they pulled these off, these 2 sketches or these 2 ads.
Really?
Yeah. But he said like NBC News wouldn't hand it over. They had to go out and like source it from another material. They say during these times that they weren't biased, they weren't leaning towards one or another, but these 2 ads make that very hard to believe. Because the Carter one's funny and it makes sense, but the Ford one's literally just him talking about how he pardons Richard Nixon. And they're like, 4 more years, here you go. But luckily for John, we go to commercial, which he loves during Weekend Update.
So stupid. Because let me just say, this was so good. I can't believe they did this because it's so good. And Dan Aykroyd is like one of my favorite things in the history of the show is Dan Aykroyd being a pitch man. And they had to do this to me. They had to sandwich it between Chevy Chase in the first half and the second half of Update. It's like, what the hell were they thinking? Because it is so like, again, is Bat-O-Matic, Bass-O-Matic? No, but I don't care. I cannot understand this decision.
So taking it out of its slot of this shitty Weekend Update commercial, you do like the Bat-O-Matic though.
Yes.
Witches, warlocks, conjurers, sorcerers, black magicians, white magicians. Are you having trouble mixing your potions in time for the winter solstice? Is your sorcery getting hung up because of the hours you spend mixing and blending your remedies? Then you need Ravco's amazing new witch's aid, the Super Batomatic 77. You never have to use mortar, pestle, or cauldron again. Super Batomatic cuts, chops, slices, dices, mixes, and blends herbs, plants, twigs, sprigs, leaves, branches, claws, teeth, eyes, ears, skin, hair, blood, flies, insects, limbs, and organs of all kinds, toads, lizards, newts, mice, rats, and bats, faster than you can knife a goat. Take this 11th century remedy from the key of Alcazar. Potion to win love and shrink hives. Feather of a young hawk, belly of a fly, blood, bile of an ox, a lizard's lung. Say sarax, sarax, and your will is done. 7 threads of a hangman's garment, basil, wolfbane, and a shoot of wintermint. To this add the eye of a rat, and mix in the body of 1 whole bat. Yes, mix in the body of 1 whole bat. Remember what a chore that used to be? Now it's fast and it's easy with Ravco's Batomatic. Here's how it works.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
And doing the Batomatic instead of Bassomatic this time. I thought it was great.
Yeah. I mean, did we need this? No. But did I enjoy it? Yeah. Like, it's Dan just going off. It's great. And Lorraine's hilarious.
Wow, that's great bat.
And again, it's totally appropriate for when the show airs, right around Halloween. It's another Halloween bit, and it's great.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hate these as much as John. And I will say I do, as I've always said, I like when they do them live. And so this was kind of fun to see like the live commercial and actually be an actual bit as opposed to a pre-tape rerun we've seen 4 times.
And then we come back to the desk. So Jane comes back, and I thought this was going to be another thing where Jane reads a story and Chevy mugs to the camera behind her. But instead, it was just Jane reading about people in the news, and she reads about Sammy Davis and Warren Beatty. And then she talks about Chevy leaving Saturday night.
Yeah, and they get a good chance of her taking some fun shots at Chevy and some shots at Johnny Carson again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is fun because a lot of people thought that potentially Chevy would replace Carson. Like, he was a favorite to be replacing him at the time. And obviously Johnny's relationship with Saturday Night Live and, like, you know, SNL or Saturday Night at the time is originally there to replace reruns of the show. And then there's, you know, this weird thing of like, okay, well, does Johnny Carson actually like Saturday Night Live?
It was funny. Like, it was, I liked that it was referencing Chevy's last show and poked fun at him while doing it, but not in a, he didn't feel the need to come back at it, which I was also kind of surprised he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised we didn't get any Emily Latella with cheddar cheese?
I am, because the phone rang and I was like, oh, Emily Latilla. But no, it was Francisco, but he didn't make a big joke of that either. Like, he talked to Francisco Franco and just hung up the phone and then turned back. But I was surprised there was no cheddar cheese.
No cheddar cheese send off. Yeah, I didn't think about it, but that's.
Well, after Weekend Update, I'm just going to turn it over to you, Brad.
I wouldn't, because I'm just going to go off.
That's fine. I have a mute button here, and then John and I can go on.
We get the band. I mean, this is amazing. I feel like this is the kind of act Lauren wanted. You know, they were huge, a little bit on the down slope, but they were huge, and they were ending their run as a unit. And this is their last public performance before they do the last waltz next month in San Francisco. And I just think they did an amazing job. I mean, is this the first time since the Paul Simon episode where a musical guest plays more than one tune at a time?
At a time, I think so.
Yeah,
yes.
like this is the first time in the show's history, I feel like, where an act came on and did like a set, like multiple songs together, which I think really helps propel this, in my opinion, to be the best performance we've seen in the history of the show up to this point. But they do 3 songs. You know, they've got 3 songs to their credit right here.
I was surprised that they did 2 songs first.
Yeah, 100%.
And then,
yeah.
And then they kept going. So they played Life is a Carnival.
Yep.
The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, and Stage Fright. Is that correct?
That's correct. So Carnival's off of Cahoots, which was their 4th album, their most recent kind of quote unquote big album, which was 1971. Dixie Down was a B-side to Cripple Creek, which I think Dixie Down is one of their top 3 songs they've ever done. And Stage Fright is an amazing song. That's the title track of their third album that was never released as a single. It wasn't huge, but if you're a band fan, it's one of the best live songs they do because Rick Danko is amazing. But these guys were just great. I mean, they just killed it. And so let's give Saturday Night Live credit for snagging this act at this point. Like, this is one of the biggest bands touring in music right now. They're calling it quits. They're doing this huge finale concert in November, and you get them on your show a month before. Like, that's great for them. I feel like this is what Lauren wanted when he put the show together.
No, this is a great performance.
John, you're Canadian. Back me up on this.
I loved it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like a huge rock guy in general, I would say, or like this, I guess, is like folk rock. But I really enjoyed this. The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, I think it's a great song. When someone does something different, it makes you stand up and pay attention. And I love that they gave that to a really special band at the time. It's a legacy moment for the show too, and really ups the quality of their repertoire from musical guests. And I loved it.
The only thing I didn't like, I have to say, as John said, The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down is one of the best songs of all time. And if you can watch Levon Helm sing that song, it gives you chills. And the fact that they cut away to those sepia pictures, which most of them were like pictures from the liner notes, I think I get what they were kind of doing, because again, the band's ending their career, so they were kind of doing this like montage-y pictures. But like, why would you have a musical act on and not show them singing, especially that song? Like, he's just so good. It just kills me. And I've watched this so many times over the years, and I knew it was coming. I wasn't surprised, but just every time I see it, it kills me that I'm not actually watching Levon sing during those parts, because it's so good. But I still say this is the best performance we've seen so far. I mean, again, unfair, because they get 3 songs in a row. No one else has had a chance to play an actual, quote unquote set.
I think it probably helps that they're in Brooklyn too, because they have all of this space that they give them. Like, they give them a lot of space, and it also frees up your buddy Dave Wilson to put cameras in different places and on so many like ISOs on so many of the band members. Yeah. I just think like the whole production's really well done.
Yeah, they did a great job with it.
Did you feel that
they did a great job with the next sketch?
The ointment?
No.
So
John?
we have
John. Yes, no.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, I really think that this is like one last ride for something that I really remember about the early days of SNL, like season 1 into the beginning of season 2, where they would take some movies and try and recreate a parody. And some of them became like really good SNL sketches. Here, they're trying to spoof The Omen and turn it into The Ointment. And there's some fun elements here. My favorite moment for sure is when he said, "Let's turn on the priest."
Yeah.
That is, again, brilliant.
These are the little Chevy things you're going to miss.
Yeah.
It's a great Chevy line.
Such a great Chevy line. And
Totally.
I have to give him credit for it. So for me, this was fun. Is it as good as some of like the really, really classic movie parodies that we get in season 1? Definitely not.
No. Chevy also has a great line when he walks in and the nanny's hanging there and he hits his head on her foot and he goes, "Oh, thank God for the bandage."
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. I think he's in like rare form of like don't give an F and
totally.
And
but that's when he's so
that.
Good. Yeah, that's when he's so good.
Like I said, like there's a lot of things that people don't like about Chevy, but I just wish like, all that couldn't be there so that we could like really love him for these moments. So that's always my conflict with Chevy. It's
a double-edged sword. Like everybody, including Chevy, will admit he left too early. He should have been on that show longer than he was. But, on the flip side is if he didn't leave, or even if he waited till the end of season 2, is Bill Murray still around? You know, like we lose Chevy, you get Bill Murray. And so it's like, how do you argue those two?
You never know.
Yeah.
I thought John was interesting in this sketch too, because he was so subdued still, I thought. Like he was supposed to be, obviously, as this character, but he didn't go over the top.
Look, it's fine. I think that they wanted to do something for Halloween. It was okay. I just think that like Buck here again does a very solid job keeping this sketch above board. Like it's really treading water for a long time, and then Buck to me is just like he's the one that's like. Yeah, if you really just want to do a deep dive into the analysis of the sketch, like he's running around from person to person, like making everything happen. And with a lesser host, this sketch is awful. But with him, it's decent.
I agree. I have the note, like, this is not playing well, but why is Buck still so good?
Because he just keeps motoring. Like he just keeps going on, and he's like, he's not going to let whatever happens with anyone else affect him. He's just like, we got to get through this. And I think part of that probably comes from being a writer and appreciating everything that goes into writing, and maybe feeling like he has to do well by the writers.
Right.
But I don't know.
And Dan's pretty good. You know, John loves Dan. Like, Dan's really good. It's like, again, and not a great sketch. He has an interesting role, and he's got a couple parts where Dan's able to like really go off or throw tangents, and Dan's really good in this.
And if I was Dan, I would have left the building already after they put my Batomatic sketch between two Chevy updates.
Speaking of leaving the building, do you guys remember when Gilda was on this show?
Who? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yes, it has.
Fortunately, I do believe one of the biggest beneficiaries of Chevy leaving the show is actually Gilda Radner.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, who really carves out like a role for herself on the show as being, you know, one of the more energetic cast members and getting to do different things on the show. And I just feel like, you know, like people will always think like Bill Murray replaces Chevy Chase. And I really just feel like the dynamic of the show completely changes without Chevy, and Gilda becomes that like anchor from the women. And it's just an incredible thing to watch. So for me.
Do you think Gilda could have helped this Gary Weiss film that we're treated to next? So we get Buck introducing Gary Weiss's film. And he talks about a song that was written for the film by Howard Shore.
And he sings it, right? Did Howard Shore sing this too?
I believe Howard Shore was singing. Yeah. The song is called It's Halloween Tonight.
And we get Buck in it. So I had hope because Buck says he's in it. So I had hope going in.
Yes. Me too. I was excited because we've seen Buck in Gary Weiss films. And even though, in my opinion, not all of them hit, it's still, you know, someone in the film that we like, that we find funny and can move it along. But in this Gary Weiss film, while Howard Shore is singing his song, we see close-ups of someone getting made up, and it turns out to just be Buck getting dressed in drag. Kind of ends up looking like B. Arthur a little bit.
Oh, that's who that was.
No, he looks like Jack Lemmon from Something Like It Hot.
No, Jack Lemmon looked way better than Buck Henry. Absolutely.
Huh. I got nothing here, guys. I wish I could like.
I have that same note. I have nothing.
Yeah, my superpower is like I could say something about this. Like I got nothing here. Like
Gary Weiss being Gary Weiss.
Yeah.
We go back to Buck at home base, and he talks about Houdini's death being 50 years to the day beforehand, and how Houdini said he would come back 50 years after.
I laughed so much during this intro.
Yes.
From the line from John Candy of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when Steve Martin punches him in the stomach. It's like, that's how Houdini died, you know? You laugh so much. I'm sorry.
Okay, so fun fact, fun or not, Houdini died in Montreal, so that's where I'm from. So there is that connection. And I think they talked about McGill or something like that there. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm intrigued. And I went to go look up some information about this. But I actually did get to speak to our mutual friend, Neil Levy, about this sketch.
Oh.
Because Neil Levy helped write the sketch. And can I give you a excerpt from Neil about this sketch,
Please.
Houdini's Grave? So I thought you'd find this interesting.
Yeah.
Season 2, Episode 6, Houdini's Grave, was written by Lorne, me, and Gary Weiss. I was deeply into magic at the time, and October 31st, 1976 was the 50th anniversary of Houdini's death. I told Lorne we should do something out by his grave. I think he said do something with Francisco Franco, and we could use Garrett in a fright wig. Okay, so basically he wrote it, but I typed it up, says Neil Levy. So thought that'd be interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
That's cool.
It was fun. It was fun to, I don't know. I think we've seen Garrett at other, like, quote unquote, remotes on Weekend Update, and he's done okay. But I thought this was fun to see him just on his own.
Well, it was an actual remote too. Like,
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
actually
yeah.
outside somewhere.
Yes, he was.
Best thing Garrett did all night.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. The two of them together as one thing. Yes.
Yes.
The next thing is, in my opinion, one of my favorite things that I have yet seen Michael O'Donoghue in.
His first least loved bedtime story?
Yeah, his first least loved bedtime story is my to date favorite Michael O'Donoghue thing we've seen.
Okay.
He tells the story of the enchanted thermos. I found this amusing. I enjoyed
I
this
liked
one.
it. Again, Buck must have a fondness for Michael
He loves
O'Donoghue. And he has said he did really like him and admitted he, got into him a bit more, because the first 2 Buck episodes we had the impressions that people didn't like. And now Buck's number 3, he's not labeled as Mr. Mike just yet, but we'll know it become Mr. Mike's least loved bedtime story. And it's bizarre, classic O'Donoghue. Like, he tells this children's story that goes horribly awry at the end.
And if there's any episode that you're going to have a great opportunity to put in some Michael O'Donoghue humor, it's a Halloween episode. So for me,
yes,
I think that this hits on all cylinders. Low bar for me, because I'm not the biggest fan of this type of humor, but I do think that this works here.
Picking up the thermos, he unscrews the red plastic top that also serves as a cup, pulls the rubber stopper, and kazam. Out pops a genie in a parka who says, I can give you anything you want as long as it's made out of snow. I'm so hungry, said the Eskimo. Could you please make me dinner? Sure thing, replied the genie. Within seconds, he had prepared a delicious dinner of snow cutlets stuffed with snow casserole, snow patties, snow salad, a side of snow pudding, and a generous glass of slush. Oh, boy, exclaimed the littlest Eskimo. Took a few bites and fell into a coma. About 10 minutes later, he was dead. The genie went through his pockets and then crawled back inside the thermos to get warm. The end.
I like this one. It's by no means my favorite.
Sure.
Which is fun, because it's nice that you can see it's an instance of a reoccurring character not hit it on the first at bat and go downhill from there. It was interesting. The audience, I don't think, really knew what to do with it. It got a laugh sometimes, but then, they laugh when the little Eskimo goes into a coma, but then he says 10 minutes later he was dead, and it was silence.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where he wanted the big laughs. But then they liked the conclusion when he's, the end. They actually did seem to really like it. So it was kind of, it felt like the audience didn't get it that much. But I, as is watching it, I enjoyed it. It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's Michael O'Donoghue, so it's not for everyone, for sure.
But, and to John's point, I didn't even think about it. Like, it's perfect for a Halloween episode.
Yeah. I liked in his telling in the beginning, he made it seem as though he's making it up off the cuff. He's like, yeah, it's an Eskimo. Yeah, let's say it's the littlest Eskimo.
Can I make another pitch here?
Please.
Which you enjoyed, I think, when I reordered episode 2 of Buck Henry. I'm going to try something here. What if we have taken this Michael O'Donoghue segment and put this one between the Chevys? No?
It's not a commercial.
I knew that's where you were going. No.
Not batting 1,000 here? Because
No.
I think that this would have been fine there, at least. Whereas give me Dan Aykroyd ending the night on the Batomatic.
Well, the only reason I would say to do that is it would make that Batomatic that much better. I don't know that this would play better, but yes, Batomatic would play better. Totally.
What if you played the Garrett remotes as part of Weekend Update instead of a commercial and moved Batomatic out of it?
Oh, that I don't mind.
That'd be good too.
Because that fits
because
into
you've
the
done
vibe.
it. You've done it before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a Weekend Update thing that's corresponding.
There you go. And Gary nailed it.
There you
I'm glad
go.
we can all agree on that. That's all we needed.
Yet again, if we were only there in 1976.
Yes.
Right.
We do go back to Garrett at the Houdini's grave, and he's so frightened his hair is standing up. And he's talking about Generalissimo Francisco Franco without saying the name. Yeah.
I also like that the Houdini name plate is like slapped above Weiss on an obviously already existing headstone tomb thing. It's like Houdini.
Yeah, that was good. And that was, I thought, a solid way to like wrap up Garrett's live remote.
I'm glad they went back to it. As a standalone, it wasn't great, but
Right.
going back to it, it does make it funny to go back. And his reaction with the hair and his hair all in it is really funny.
And I was glad that they didn't go back a third time.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
thought two was the
enough.
perfect number.
Yeah.
You didn't need a third one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have the band again, Brad.
4 songs. 4.
Yes. This is a cover from the 1930s.
I knew you were going to fucking bring this up.
So why are you not bitching about
Don't do
this?
that. You can't. This isn't fair. You can't. It's the band.
That is totally fair. No. You
Actually, it was the big band then.
Yeah. I've been dreading this moment the whole time.
Yeah.
This was going to come.
No. This is the whole, you have bitched nonstop through all of season 1 about covers of 1930s songs. No lie, John, I cut out about 45 minutes in the season 1 recap of him bitching just about that. And now here we are. The band comes on. They cover Georgia on My Mind, which was written in 1930-ish. And yet Brad sees this as a wonderful, beautiful performance that he cannot get enough of.
I like the Ray Charles version.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Rich. Yes. In all, I do not love this song by the band. I don't. It's not my favorite song. I could have picked a dozen other songs. If they were going to play a 4th song, I would have rather heard. But it makes sense. This was a song they covered in '76 for Carter, for his campaign. So it makes sense they would play this on this episode. They would throw this on what would be their last album together next year, which is basically like contractual throw the garbage out album. And the only thing I do like about this is it shows that Richard Manuel is a great singer, and it features that. Like, I love Richard. He's got a great voice. He does this song very well. But, it made sense for them to play it on the show. But as a band fan, I do not love it.
No.
Even not counting the fact that it's fuck. I knew I was going to get called out on the whole 30s thing. I knew it. I knew it. Oh, well.
Glad I did my job.
Yep.
But that's it. That's the last.
There it is.
After the band, we go to good nights. And everyone is on stage.
Including Gilda. Gilda's still there. Yep.
With bandages on their heads, including Gilda and Michael
Did you ever
O'Donoghue.
think about how the wordplay on the bandages?
No.
Oh, just me? Okay. See, it's all a big conspiracy.
There you go.
And that was it. This was Chevy's big farewell, goodbye. Everyone embraces him lovingly, except for Garrett, who is still on the remote.
Buck, what was Buck's line? Like, good night, Garrett, wherever you are.
Wherever you
good
are,
luck
yeah.
or something. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of episodes where they could have said that.
I thought they did a fun gesture where Chevy takes his final fall and everybody on the stage kind of
Everybody
falls
falls
down
down.
with him. That was kind of a cool, subtle thing. I like that.
Yeah.
Even though we'll see Chevy for another 2 or 3 weeks and pre-tapes, they'll keep popping up.
Right.
But yeah, it was nice.
Not my favorite of all of the Buck episodes.
Yeah, I agree. I say overall, it was a decent episode. But this is, it's hard. Like, it's Buck Henry.
Right.
We talked about this last week when we saw Steve Martin's first episode. You either want or expect every Buck Henry episode to be A+ out of the park. And this is a very good episode. It's probably my least favorite of the 3 that he's done, but it's easily in the top third of everything we've seen on the show up to this point. Like, it's really good and awesome musical performance.
Yeah, I thought that would help raise it for you in your listing of shows, Brad.
It's just
Performance.
enjoyable. Like, overall, it's enjoyable. Like, even the ointment sketch, like, we don't love. We enjoyed watching Buck. We enjoyed watching Dan. Like, Chevy has a couple great jokes. There's enjoyable stuff in it all.
But I think this show has so much going on. There are so many things to it, partly because it's Buck, because he brings a lot. And then the cut on the forehead, and they go to the remote, and it's Chevy's last show, and it happens to be in Brooklyn. Like, all of these factors I think it made it a very enjoyable show, just a little uneven.
Well, you're right. And the Brooklyn of it is a good point. No one wanted to be in Brooklyn. They all hated being in Brooklyn. This is week 3 of being in Brooklyn. And I think this is the best show they've done in Brooklyn. Like they finally got some good sets in there. You had sketches with more than just 1 or 2 people in there. They had the audience down below. So as you were mentioning, you could hear it better and they were more involved. And I think all of that just added to it being fun. And, I think I've poorly made this comparison in the past, but again, it's Buck Henry. It's like watching Michael Jordan and they win and he only puts up 25. And you're like, oh,
right.
He didn't score 50 points, but it's still quality. And I think that's, ultimately what this is.
I would say more like Wilt Chamberlain, but like I get your point.
Okay.
But I'm just like very specific about my sports analogies. But I agree.
I thought you were going to say Guy Lafleur. That's so.
Oh, please. But yeah, that is a great point. But I will say the other factor here is I believe this is the 6th show in 7 weeks. So that is there's a lot of material that's being pumped out to start the season. The looming factor of Chevy leaving the show, it affects, how are we going to tackle the episode? And I think that Buck is like I said, I think every time Buck hosts, it's like a tentpole moment for the show, whether it's a finale he's hosting or another like really memorable episode. I think that out of the 3 Bucks that we've watched together so far, this would be my least quality episode.
Yeah, I agree.
So far. But like I said, it's still very important. I just think that moment we get, are we talking best bits now?
Yes, let's talk about best bits.
Okay, well, I think like that, like I said, the moment to me, some moments are bigger than the show. And that moment on Samurai Stockbroker to me is infamous. And it makes this episode a very memorable one.
That's a very good point.
And then I have to go ahead with Chevy on Update. I really feel like for his last update, he brought it. I really liked some of the stuff like in season 1, and then it just kept being like repetition after repetition, and it sort of got watered down over time. But I really think he was having a lot of fun here. We didn't even discuss how he's like playing the game with his hand, and then he's like,
oh yeah,
he's like on the phone, like he's doing like a bunch of stuff. Like he's just like to me, he had like energy that he wasn't always bringing to Update, and I think he wanted to like end it on a high. And I think those attack ads for me were really fun as well. So best bits for me have to be Stockbroker, the band, a jizz, and Weekend Up.
Brad, what are your best bits?
Damn it. John has made me feel like my choices are so inadequate.
Oh, if you pick the ointment, I'm going to be really mad.
I had not for First Ladies Only because I thought it was really good, and for what they did and what they were doing, I liked it. I wanted to put Batomatic because I feel like it got a crappy slot, but of this episode, I thought it was one of the best sketches. And I never do this, but I'm putting the musical guest. I thought the band's performance was awesome.
I also had Batomatic as one of my best bits. I also had the Ford Carter commercials, the attack ads as that. And I've debated like, Weekend Update as a whole, is that a way to do it? But I thought those 2 pieces were so specific. But I agree with John. I thought Chevy was great in Weekend Update this week. I thought Jane's piece in Weekend Update was great. I really enjoyed that whole Weekend Update segment in all. And I liked the thought behind the debate and just pulling it out of being a one-on-one debate and
going outside the box.
Yeah. John, thank you so much for doing this
again.
Thank you,
John. Yes.
Always a pleasure.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
Of course. It's my absolute pleasure to be here. So excited to come back every single time you invite me to talk about Buck Henry. So really appreciate that, guys.
Well,
great. We'll see you in a couple months. But until then, let's plug the Saturday Night Network.
We have all out coverage of the show every single week. Right after the episodes, we will be live with our hot take shows to break down the episode. Then we got Monday night roundtables. We got our by the number shows on Wednesdays. So really just everything you need to know about the show you will find over at the Saturday Night Network. We are currently doing our countdown of the 50 greatest cast members in SNL history as voted by our SNL community. We had a ton of votes come in from all different
This is so much
members.
fun to listen to.
Thank you. It's been, honestly, this is a podcast I've wanted to do since I started podcasting. So excited that I get to do it. And I will say, I have not seen a better top 50 list. So show me one.
Oh,
nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, search the Saturday Night Network, and on all social platforms at the SNL Network.
Thank you once again. I'm looking forward to the culmination of that list. Next week, we're going to be talking about season 2, episode 7. with host Dick Cavett and
Dick
musical
Cavett's
guest.
back?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Look out, everybody.
With musical guest Rye Cooter. I don't know who that
I'm letting that go.
is.
I'm just keep going. Just let it go. Keep going.
Until then, good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Have a pleasant tomorrow.
The Not Ready for Primetime podcast is a Two Pints Productions production. Produced and edited by Brad and Gary. Thought about by Brad and Gary. Please rate and review. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Wow, that's great fat. And a great potion, too. I'm in love and my hives are cured.
With Batomatic, you can prepare as many bat-based potions as you like without pounding, grinding, or mixing by hand. Throw away that mortar, pestle, and cauldron. Get the Super Batomatic 77. It works like magic.
Batomatic at alchemists everywhere.